All right, what's up, y'all? Listen, wasn't planning to jump back on, but I'm sitting here doing some film study on Devin Haney and George Kambosos because we know, they fight next week, and I got to get this breakdown done. I was trying to get it done by today or by tomorrow, the latest. And I'm sitting here watching these two fights between. I'm watching the George Kambosos. Had just started watching it again, and I'm like, damn, this was really a good fight. Like the George Kambosos fight and Teofimo Lopez fight this was a great fight. I forgot how good this fight was. So I'm watching. I'm like, hey, you know what? I might as well go on live. I know a lot of people, everybody know the outcome of this fight, but I said, you know what? Let me go on live while I'm watching this fight. Also, I was watching a little bit of Devin Haney against. I know I was watching a little bit of Devin Haney against George Kambosos, and I'm probably gonna watch that fight over again as well while I'm live. Just really underrated fight. Like I thought the fight was better than the two of them got credit for. I just it was a good fight. Devin Haney clearly won, and I know people like to say that it was boring and everything like that, but it was a good fight. In fact, Linares landed a whole lot of punches, and I can see what Kambosos can do in the fight against Devin Haney. I can see how Kambosos can catch him with some good shots. But I'm just going back and forth between fights, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just go on live. I'm going live while I'm watching it. I know most of you are probably working busy, but it's not gonna hurt for me to watch this fight. I'm sitting here watching. I might as well just go live while I'm watching it. You get me? So I'm currently watching. I actually played it back. I'm gonna watch Kambosos against Teofimo Lopez first, and we're gonna go do that, and then just basically tell you what I'm looking for because Kambosos and fighting T. You got Tio, who's an orthodox fighter. Obviously, he has a lot of power. Okay, he's not quite like Devin Haney. I feel like between the two of them, Devin Haney is the fighter that's going to go in there. He's just a more disciplined fighter. He's not relying on his power. He's more relying on his boxing ability. As in Tio came into this fight clearly wanting a first round knockout, and I just feel like he wasn't getting the proper coaching and instructions in his corner. I think his father gets way too involved at times. And, if you even listen to interviews with Tio's dad, it sounds like Tio's father will talk as if he's the one in the ring, you know. Um, he said, he talks as he doesn't say we. He say, I want this. Sometimes I want that. I want this. If you ever listen to it, I don't know his father's first name, but if you ever listen to Teofimo's father talk, he talks as if he's the one in the ring. And I think that's part of the reason why Teofimo Lopez lost this fight, because he really wasn't disciplined here. And as the fight went on, from what I remember, we're going to watch it now, or at least I'm going to watch it now. You guys are going to listen. Um, you can hear it from him. He's like, what are you doing? Get this guy out of there. There was never a plan B. um, Rocket, what's up, man? I am live, but I'm gonna play the fight back. I'm actually gonna watch the Teofimo Lopez fight back first, and then I'm gonna go into the Devin Haney fight. But right now, I'm watching Teofimo Lopez against George Kambosos. So I'm gonna start it in a minute, and I'm just explaining what I remember from this fight. What I remember is the poor instructions, the lack of discipline, the fact that these guys did not prepare for a 12-round fight. I still believe that a Teofimo Lopez that was properly prepared for this fight would have or should have won, because it still was a close fight. I think I remember scoring it 7-5, of course, for George Kambosos. Of course, you had a knockdowns from each side, but I still believe that George won 7-5, at least as far as I remember, right? And then the Devin Haney, we're gonna go into the Devin Haney fight against Jorge Linares, simply because, of the things that he has in common. I'm talking about George Kambosos, not George Kambosos, Jorge Linares has in common with George Kambosos. I'm getting all these guys' names mixed up. All right, but I'm going to start off with this Teofimo Lopez fight. Man, listen, I forgot how good this. I'm sitting here watching this fight as if, for me to go back and watch a fight that I already know the outcome. I remember seeing this fight live. I forgot how good of a fight. This was really, really a good fight, man, especially the first round. The first round was so crazy. For me to go back and watch a fight and still be this excited to watch it, I love it, man. This was a great fight. I mean, it was a great fight. It was a great fight. Great fight. But I'm starting round one now between Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos. This was a crazy, crazy round. This first round was insane. Insane. As Teo was definitely dominant up until he got dropped, man. But George was sneaking in some good shots in because Teo was just rushing, lack of defense. Again, lack of discipline. Round one. And Teo comes out in this round with a big right hand, just walks right up to George and just swings a big right hand. He's acting like this is a street fight. He doesn't even want it to be a fight. He's coming at George. George is he's on his back foot now, trying to counter. Teo is just coming in, doing big right hands. He's punching while the referee is trying to break them up and separate them. This was wild. Teo was acting like a crazy man in this fight. Nice check left hook with George. And you could tell that George was preparing for this. His team, excellent game plan. They knew Teo was coming at him. And with all the things that was said before this fight, George, you can tell George and his team and his camp knew that Teo was coming to bring the fight straight to him right away. And this first round here, Teo is swinging, and he's not even, he's not even connecting. If we're being honest, he's not setting anything up for the most part. He lands a jab. He lands a couple of jabs now, and Kambosos returns with his jab. But George is cool. He's calm. He's relaxed, even with all of the pressure coming from Teo, who's a big puncher. We're halfway through the first round here, and the crowd is screaming Teo. He's from Brooklyn, so of course he's in New York fighting. But Lopez lands a good left hand right there. It was just, he wanted to get this knockout quick. He burnt himself out really, really early in this fight. And then he had to resort to boxing because the fight was getting tight, and he had to resort to boxing instead of making this a street fight. Nice left hand nice counter left hand for Teo. Teo had an excellent round all the way to a point he gets knocked down. But George is really relaxed, and you got to give George credit because we know for a fact that from watching this fight, has a great chin. Great chin. Another right hand connects with Teo. Oh, another right hand lands for Teo. But George is still cool and relaxed, and that says a lot about him. Another right hand lands for Teo. So Teo's coming at him. Boom. He's all over George. Reckless, though. Straight reckless. Big right. Yo, that punch. That punch that Kambosos landed, that overhand right, and he lands another one right after that and drops Teo. Yo. This was the craziest first round. And Teo's father is about to get at him. Teo's father's going crazy at him. He's going crazy. Oh, this was such a good fight. This was one of the best fights last year. Oh, man, this fight was so good. But you know what it is? Teo's pops is yelling at him, but he's not giving him any instructions. He's yelling at him as he's pissed off. What the hell are you doing? I'm watching it on the Zone right now. I don't know if it's available on YouTube, but I'm actually using the Zone app to rewatch the fight. And oh man, that knockdown by listen, I remember covering this fight live. That knockdown by George Kambosos came out of nowhere. You never saw it coming. Perfect setup. Now we're in the second round. And T.O. is still continuing to press forward. But he's being so reckless, man. And this is what I mean about discipline. I mean, George got this win, and it was a big win. But you can't expect the same from Devin Haney. Devin Haney is not going in there looking to recklessly knock you out and turn it into a street fight. That's not the way he boxes. He boxes. Right hand, left hand connects for T.O. And you can tell he's calmed down a little in this round. And that's what getting knocked down do to you. But T.O. is landing some heavy shots. And Kambosos took it. He's still relaxed. Very relaxed in there. Very, very relaxed. Kambosos is a good counterpuncher, man. I was watching his fight against Mickey Bay the other day. And that's another thing. Mickey Bay is going to be in his corner. Or I believe he's going to be in his corner. Or at least he's going to be in Devin Haney's corner. So Mickey Bay, I don't know if he's going to be in this camp, but I know I heard something about he was helping Devin prepare for this fight because Mickey had a close fight with George Kambosos a couple of years back. All right. Nice jab lands for T.O. But T.O. burned himself out. He punched himself out within the first 4 rounds or so. And then became a boxing match. And George was just, outboxing him, outpointing him. Kambosos is a good counterpuncher, though. Very good counterpuncher. All right. And that's what he's working with, man. Everything is a setup. Anytime he throws the right hand is behind the jab. Good 1-2, just straight, simple boxing fundamentals here with him. Fundamentals, all about the fundamentals, where T.O. is being the aggressor and trying to make it a brawl. George is boxing. All right. Very precise here. Very smart. I like the way he just continues to duck under the right hand. He sees it coming from a mile away. And T.O. is not hitting him flush. He's landing, but he's not connecting flush. And this is why George was able to do so well and take the power. I know he got dropped at some point in this fight, but he boxed very well in this fight here. Yeah, this is my second live, man. If you guys are just joining, all right. If you guys are just joining, hit that like button. If you're just joining, I was just home. I was sitting here watching some of Devin Haney's fight with Jorge Linares, doing some film study on that. All right. And then I turned it off for a little bit and I went over to Teofimo Lopez against George Kambosos. That's the way I like to do my film study. I like to just go back and forth between fights. And I turned on this fight and I forgot how crazy this fight. I haven't seen this full fight since the night of the fight. And I forgot how wild it was, how wild it started. But you could see the bruising and everything from George even after the second round. We're in between the second and third rounds here between T.O. and George. But this is what I mean about not getting the proper instructions in the corner. Again, they keep showing T.O.'s pops just yelling at him in the corner like, come on, wake up. What are you doing? Wake up. That's not, tell him something that's going to help him win, strategically win. We didn't get that. All right. Nicholas says Cambo handled adversity better from harder hitter. Absolutely. And thank you for the super chat, man. This was a good fight, man. Very, very good fight. But T.O., you can tell he slowed down here at this point. But he's not. He slowed down. but I think it's due to fatigue a little bit. But again, he's not boxing like he should be because he wants the knockout so bad. You have to work with it. You got to work for it. You have to work for it. He wasn't really working for it. And by the time he started to work for it in the later rounds, George Kambosos already had him figured out. You know, he already burned a lot of energy trying to get a quick early knockout in the early rounds. And now once you start changing the strategy, it's like, well, George already has you figured out, and you're not even at the top of your game at this point. It's like the Lomachenko game plan. The Lomachenko game plan was to let him burn himself out early and then finish him off later. Now, he wasn't successful, but you can see in those later rounds, like the 8th, 7th, 8th, or, the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th rounds, Lomachenko was clearly beating Teofimo Lopez in those rounds. Nice jab, nice left hook by George. One thing about the left hook about George, and I saw this as well with Devin Haney against Linares, where I was watching a little bit of that earlier. George has a very good check left hook, very good timing, and Haney caught a lot of left hooks from Jorge Linares in their fight. And I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna turn that fight on after this one and rewatch. Go back to rewatching some of that fight. But yeah, Tio at this point, and now he's starting to box here. We're closing out on the end of the third round. Nice right hand connects for Tio. Nice right hand. Nice right hand. That was a nice landed right hand. But George is very durable. George is very, very durable. Very durable fighter, man. He's taking a full impact to some of these punches, and he's very calm. Stays very calm. Keeps working. I was supposed to go to this fight too. Another right hand connects for Lopez. Another right hand. Another right hand lands for Lopez. And you can tell Lopez, Kambosos is getting in Tio's head. Every time they have an exchange and it's time to separate the two, Kambosos is smiling at him. He's getting into his head. And he's getting into his dad's head as well. Vigilante says Kambosos ate some blows in that fight. He definitely did, for sure. EK says, who should Tio fight in his comeback fight off a long layoff? I'm not really too sure because he's supposed to be moving up to 140. Okay, so if he's gonna go up to 140, I'm not really sure who's the problem. I think he needs to get it together mentally. I've said this since this fight. Teofimo believes that he was cheating out of this fight. And he doesn't really take any accountability off the poor strategy him and his father took going into this fight. I have in every interview that I've heard, even tweets, everything that I heard from Tio and his camp, it seems like they're still in denial about what happened in this fight right here. They're still in denial. It's like they don't believe that they lost fairly, and that's not true. That's not true. He lost to me in my opinion. I thought it was close. I thought it was very, very close. But I still believe that George did enough to win here, because once George gets into a good rhythm here, he starts to outpoint Teofimo Lopez. We're in the fourth round and about 2 minutes left in the fourth round. And Tio is still doing good at this point. But there's a point where George starts to rally back and pick up a good amount of rounds, all right, with his boxing, and now he's starting to connect. See, he's starting to connect now, lands the overhand right. He's starting to connect. He don't have the power Tio has, but his boxing and him being so relaxed, even with all the adversity, is what got him this win. About halfway through the fourth round here. George's chin is greater than Devin's chin. Yeah, that's fair to say because his chin has been proven in this fight. But I also believe that Devin's chin is better than what people give him credit for, because Linares is a very big puncher. He's always been a KO guy at 135. And Haney took a lot of punches from Linares. Everybody remembers the 10th round where Haney got hurt by Linares, but everybody don't remember all the other shots that Linares landed in that fight in their exchanges. The left hooks, the amount of left hooks and the amount of short right hands that he landed leading up to that one that hurt Haney. Haney has never been down. All right. He's been rocked a few times, but he's been buzzed. And he's been buzzed, but he hasn't gone down. He hasn't gone down. You got to remember, Linares even dropped Lomachenko. Linares doesn't get the credit. Everybody look at Linares now as this old guy. Once see these exchanges. See, and this is whoa. Big exchange from George and Tio at the end of the fourth. And that's what George was doing. Not only was he boxing well, but he would ambush Tio at times when you wouldn't expect it. Because George, if you watch his fights, like this is like when I was watching the Mickey Bay fight the other day. Kambosos he's not a high volume fighter. He's a counter puncher. He liked to set up his shots. But in this fight against Tio, there were times where he just ambushed Tio, and Tio was just not ready for it. He would just throw 3, 4, 5 punch combinations on Tio, and Tio wasn't expecting it because George rarely comes with that kind of energy. You know what I'm saying? Good boxing. Good boxing. Tio versus Mario Barrios. I don't think that's a good fight to come back on, to be honest. I think he needs to step down a little bit. I think Barrios would be a little bit too dangerous for Tio right now. I know Tank stopped him. I know Thurman put a lot of punishment on him, but I think Barrios is the first one back is dangerous. Very dangerous. Joe says, can Devin Haney hurt Kambosos either by volume, accumulated amount of punches? I don't believe so. I think if Devin wins the fight, it's just going to be strictly on points, strictly on outscoring him each round, more rounds. I don't think it's going to be off of hurting Kambosos. All right. I think Kambosos took enough power punches from Tio to prove that he actually has a real good chin. I even think Ramirez is too dangerous, man. I don't think that at all. It's a good fight, but I don't think that's a comeback fight. Nicholas says where George lacks in power, he makes up for timing. Absolutely. We're in the 5th round here. And it's a close fight up to this point, I think it's like a tie at this point, even with the knockdown. Linares would beat, EK says Linares would beat George, I think. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Because I still think Linares is the best person on George's resume outside of Teofimo Lopez. I think Linares is better than what's his name? Lee Selby, or a Mickey Bay. You know what I'm saying? I think he's better. He's more dangerous. Linares has big power, like real power. All right. Steven says Devin never ever been dropped. I don't get why people say his chin is so sus when almost everybody else in the division has been dropped. Absolutely. And that's my point. Where's the proof? Where's the evidence of him being this big chinny guy? Again, I saw his fight with Linares. I know what Linares is capable of. I've been watching Linares for a long, long time. And I can tell you that Linares always had big power. All right. Just like Tio has big power. Linares connected with a lot of shots. Is only was able to hurt him with one. You know, Linares landed combinations against Devin Haney, and Devin Haney stood there and kept fighting. You know, um, yeah, Kambosos was at this point. Now we're in the fifth. We're going into the sixth. Kambosos was connecting with a lot of good shots here, landing another overhand right, outboxing Tio. So now at this point in the fight, you're like, whoa, this is not what I expected. You know, you should always, a disciplined fighter and a disciplined coach should always go in there to work for the knockout. Work for the knockout. You should never go in there thinking like, yo, we got to get this guy out in one round. And I think his pops had a lot to do with that. Yeah, Kambosos, Devin's not going to hit Kambosos as hard as Teal did. You know what I'm saying? Um, Listen, I'm not going to completely sleep on Devin when it comes to the power thing because you can always catch someone with a good shot and put him down. But I don't think he's going to hurt Kambosos to a point. Like, I can see him dropping him with a flash knockdown. But I can also see Kambosos catching him as well. See, I'm not sleeping on George. I'm not sleeping on George. I slept on him for this fight. I'm not going to sleep on him against Devin Haney because I know what he's capable of, you know? Now, Teal fighting Pedraza is a good fight. That's a realistic fight. That's a very, thanks for pointing that out. I think that's a very realistic fight right there. You know, Teal versus Linares is a good idea. It is a good idea. That's a good idea. That's a good idea as well. That's a realistic fight. You know, Linares hasn't spent much time at 140. We saw what happened when he moved right up to 140. He got moved right back down to 135 because he got stopped early. You know, one foot out the door says it's the hugging and the clincher for 2 rounds. He could have got disqualified. I don't think he could have got disqualified. I think he wasn't fully recovered. And Devin knew that he had the fight in the bag because of the amount of rounds that he won previous to that. And he just probably wanted to play it safe. Now, a lot of people don't like that, but it's realistic. It's not like what Chris Colbert did. Chris Colbert decided to run for an entire half of the fight. When he just lost to Garcia. He even said in his post-fight review that I wasn't going to get knocked out. He wasn't trying to fight to win. He was trying to fight to survive after he got dropped. It's a different thing, you know. Devin was badly hurt, and he went into the 11th and 12th and played it safe because he was badly hurt. And he didn't want to give up the fight because he was hurt. I think 2 rounds is different. It's not like it's not comparable to certain fights that we've seen where fighters play it safe for a whole half of a fight. It's not like De La Hoya versus Tito Trinidad, but De La Hoya was up 4 or 5 rounds, and then he decided to just run for the entire second half of the fight. If you guys remember that fight. Nicholas says, Ben Davison always makes his fighters play it safe, opposite of the Crunk. That's why Devin hugged and coasted. Again, it was 2 rounds left, and he was coming off being hurt bad. It's a good thing that Devin has a good jab. Absolutely, he has a great jab. So does Tio. Tio has a very good power jab. Very good power jab. But again, he was so eager for the knockout, he abandoned it. And then he started to use it again in the later half of the fight, but he already given up too many rounds at that point, you know? Yeah, I think most of us agree that being that Devin is fighting in Australia, a lot of people feel that if the fight is close, is Devin going to get the decision? You know, and that goes with everybody that fights, in someone else's backyard. Thanks, Young Hollywood. I'm trying, man. I've been pushing very, very hard to make as much content as possible. I don't think I'm ever gonna be on a level of some of the other creators on YouTube where they just making video after video all day long. But I try to work with quality over quantity. You know what I'm saying? I try to make good content, everything good, every single time I put something out. All right, especially when it comes to breakdowns and actual analysis of what the fighters are doing in the ring. That's really my goal. All right, this was a good fight. I'm in the 7th round here. George Kambosos, Teofimo Lopez. And Teo got to get back in the ring soon. Hopefully he gets in the ring soon. He has to get back on it, man. He can't take too much time off, you know? Igor says Devin has never fought abroad and landed in Australia 2.5 weeks before the fight. Also worth mentioning, it's winter season around the corner, which is completely opposite to Vegas. Good point. Good point. The advantages are in Kambosos' favor. Kambosos is going to be fighting at home. Kambosos has traveled to fight. Kambosos traveled to win this fight against Teofimo Lopez. We're halfway through the 7th round here. Kambosos won this fight in New York, and he's traveled before. He went about 5 rounds without fighting, or 5 fights without fighting at home. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to be home. But you can't say, who's to say he's not going to feel pressure fight at home in a big arena behind a big crowd? The crowd that he's about to fight Devin Haney in, there's pressure on him as well, because you want to be able to perform at home. It's one thing to go out and go to other people's backyard and win, but it's another thing to perform in front of your fans. You don't want to disappoint your country. You got to always look at everything in full circle. But I believe that Kambosos is the one that has the edge going into the fight, because they are fighting in his country. He is the champion. I believe that Devin will probably have to do more to beat him. And to the judges, I mean. Yeah. And Devin doesn't even have his pops in his corner, who's his head coach. Nice body shot lands for Teo. Another body shot lands for Teo. See, these are the things that Teo should have been done in round 1. But again, George never looked like he was in behind any kind of threat with Teo here. Teo can't. George is feeling it, yo. Teo, the way he's walking back to his corner, he don't look confident. I'm watching the 7th round. After the 7th round, look at Teo's body language going back to his corner. You know what I'm saying? He's in for a real fight. His face is messed up. And they weren't planning for a real fight. They thought this was the easiest fight. Yo, we're coming off the Lomachenko win. And this is what I mean about, it's not always about whose backyard the fight is in. It's about being disciplined, mentally being strong, and being prepared, for who you facing. He felt like this was a step down, and he fought this fight like it was a step down. Smash that like button too. I know it's not going to be a lot of people here. What we're doing is a rewatch right now, but so now they're talking, the commentary is talking about what could be one of the big. We're in the 8th round, and they're already talking about a potential upset, and you think that's not going in the back of Teo's mind. You come to New York, the crowd is cheering for you, and you're letting a guy from Australia, who they probably didn't know of or never heard of before this fight, beat you in your own backyard. I know he's from Florida, but I think he was born in Brooklyn or whatever, and he's getting outscored here. Teal got exposed. Igor says, "Wait, do you think the version of Kambosos that fought Lopez would easily won against Linares? I like Devin's chin. He took a lot of good shots from Linares and JoJo and recovered pretty quickly." Um, that's a good question because it's something that I thought about earlier. Um, Kambosos versus Linares would be a very good fight. Uh, I think right now, as in today, I would give Kambosos the edge against Linares. But I also believe that it would be a tough fight. I think Linares maybe 5 years ago would probably win. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and then act like Linares is a little older, but when I saw him fight Devin Haney, I still saw the hand speed. I still saw the power. He still fought a very, very good fight. You know, so it would be a good fight. I think Linares is still a good fight at 135. I think it's still a good fight for Ryan Garcia. I think Jorge Linares right now, as in today, would be a good fight for Ryan Garcia. Right now, if they announce that fight, because that's a fight that was supposed to happen before, I still believe that that's a good fight for Ryan Garcia. Absolutely. I don't think Linares is just completely washed. He might not be in his prime. And I know some of you might feel that he's a journeyman. I don't feel that way. Absolutely feel that way. I just think Kambosos is just landing right hand after right hand. His timing with the right hand is perfect. And he's putting a lot of damage on Tio right now. Now Tio is still boxing well and he's still connecting with some power shots, but he's not hurting George. Nice combination lands for Tio. They have a light, strong exchange. And I feel like Tio did catch him with a good 2 or 3 shots. But he was outboxed for the majority of that round. Abdullayev, the guy who Haney stopped in 4 rounds for the then interim WBC belt. That's another fight. Oh, yeah. I think Linares is supposed to be fighting him. Oh, whoa. I didn't know they fought already. Hold on. My bad. I didn't know Linares got stopped by Abdullayev like that. I know that they were supposed to fight. I didn't know they fought already. All right, well, so much for that. Oh man, I didn't know they fought already. I remember hearing about that fight. I didn't know they fought already. And he got stopped in the 12th round. Wow. Let me ask y'all a question. Who was winning that fight before it was stopped in 12? And Linares won the first half. Okay. I didn't watch that fight. I got to go back. This was on the I just pulled it up. This was in February. Jesus. I didn't know they fought. I totally missed that fight. Totally missed that one. I don't know where I was when that fight went down. I remember when it was announced and I totally forgot about that one. Yeah, if he's losing to Abdullayev at this stage, then maybe you're right. Maybe he is a journeyman at this point. And I remember him. Abdullayev was going into the Haney fight. I remember checking him out. I thought he was a pretty good, a decent pressure fighter. I like the way he goes to the body. But I wouldn't think that Linares would lose to him, even now at this point. Jonas says Linares was outboxing him. Yeah. But Linares, even in his prime, has he always got stopped. Except Haney. Haney was the only one that really beat him clearly on points. Everybody else stopped him. Even the upset wins, you know. Grim Reaper said it was in Russia and Linares did what he's supposed to do. Looked good, but he was there to lose, same as the Haney fight. Damn. Ninth round, Tio's all over. So I remember watching this fight live, and I remember there was a point where it was a strong push from Teofimo Lopez. Then I believe at this point, this might have been it. And then he scores a knockdown at some point. And I think he started to really rally back a little bit. But then I still feel like George finished stronger, at the very end in the championship rounds. I still feel that George secured a win, in my opinion, when I watched this live. Close fight, though. Very close fight. I had a 7-5 again. Yeah, Kano demolished him. Yeah, absolutely. What's good, Wood asks, who do you think has a hand speed advantage between Kambosos and Haney? And can Haney's style reduce Kambosos' punch output? I think they're both very, very fast. I think so. I think Haney is gonna have the punch output, all right, over Kambosos. I also think Haney has the better angles. I think he's a better inside fighter. I think he just has more punches in his arsenal, right? What I think about George is that George has very good hand speed, which Linares did as well when they fought. Uh, I like the chin on Kambosos. I love Kambosos' timing. Okay. I don't think he has the arsenal as a Haney, but I also think that his timing is good. I think he's a very, very good counterpuncher. All right. I just think that Haney has the better angles, though. You know, I think Haney's more willing to throw, combinations and stuff. I think George is more of an ambush fighter. He likes to box. He likes to box. He likes to box. And out of nowhere, he's rushing you with combinations. Great matchup. I think it's going to be a good fight. I don't think people is trying to say that this is going to be a boring fight. I don't agree with that. I think this is going to be a good action-packed fight between Haney and Kambosos. You know, um, but I do. Oh, nice right hand lands for. See, at this point in the fight, the 10th round, Lopez drops Kambosos just now. And at this point in the fight, I thought Lopez was going to take over. At this point right here, this moment, I said, okay, Tio got this. Kambosos is hurt. Tio is all over him in the 10th round. Here, halfway through the 10th round, and Tio is all landing right hand after right hand after right hand, and he couldn't drop him out. He couldn't drop him again. Kambosos is still hurt. I think the fight is going to be a different fight. I think George is going to be more focused on the counters and the timing and trying to land in between Haney's shots. I think the left hook is going to be the punch for George. I think George and the overhand right, definitely. But it's going to be more, it's not going to be about volume. It's going to be more about precision with George. Whereas with Haney, it's going to be more about, volume, the combinations from Haney. He's going to be outlanding George, where George might have more effective shots, more clean counters. And I'm talking from a sense from what the judges might look at it as. I think Igor asked, who do I think has a better chin between the two? I think I would say George for now, because I seen George's chin get tested more in this fight. George took a lot of punches from Teo, and he took them. He took them all. Even when he was dropped and hurt. You know, Philly says, Jorge says this is going to be a close fight, bro. May the best man win. Yeah, it is going to be a close fight. Smash that like button too. Philly says Kambosos will be in the top tier condition. I think he's the most conditioned in that division. I think Devin Haney is one of the most conditioned fighters too. I think that's the part of the reason why he's still undefeated and he hasn't been dropped and he's winning so many rounds against these fighters is part of him being so disciplined and being well conditioned and staying in shape in between fights. He's not blowing up in between fights. Cam dropped an attempt. He took it well, though. He got up and fought back like a champ. He sure did. Big round for Cam from Teo. All right, so we're in the 11th round. All right, we're in the 11th round here. And big round from Teo. Now, at this point, I thought that Teo had a chance to win if he closed the show. I remember that while I was watching it live. And I feel that at this moment, Teo might have punched himself out in that previous rounds. Now, Chris Mannix's unofficial scorecard say he has it a draw at this point. All right. He gave 5 rounds to Teo and 5 rounds to George. I think this fight at this point, and I agree with his scorecard, maybe not every round, but I'm in the same ballpark as him. Nice combination lands for Teo. Nice right hand connects for Kambosos. This was anybody's fight at this point. Whoever wanted it more would have won this fight. And right now, it seems like Kambosos has recovered from getting dropped by Teo. And he's doing a better work. He's better conditioned. I think Teo punched himself out a little bit. He looks tired. And I think this was the time where he needed to step on the gas. And that goes back to him using so much of his energy trying to get him out of there in the other rounds and not working for him. Lopez is bleeding a lot in this round, man. I don't even remember him getting, taking so much so much visible damage in this fight. Now that I'm watching it again. Teo couldn't capitalize. Yeah, Kambosos doing in training lots of inside game. I think he's gonna end Haney's dream. Haney needs to silence home crowd. He will be more vulnerable by going forward. And I think that's something that we need to expect. I think there's gonna be moments in this fight where Haney is gonna come forward and Haney is going to go to the body and try to do the better work on the inside. I saw a little bit of it in the Linares fight. I think in the 5th round, I'm gonna play that fight right after this fight. But there's a point in that fight where Haney is doing the better work on the inside against Jorge Linares. What's good? Wilk says my guess is that Haney will be the more patient, jab heavy back foot fighter, and that George will throw more multiple punch combinations. Interesting that you see Haney as having the volume. Well, yeah, I see. The reason why I say that is because Haney is always throwing. even when he's patient, he's always throwing. He's always throwing more combinations. Even when he's, focused on the timing, he's still always throwing a lot of punches. He loves the combinations. Now, what I think will happen is at some point, George is going to be forced to let his hands go more, you know? But I could see Haney. Haney has the better jab between the two by far, you know? Uh, Haney's going to be working that jabs, and he's going to pick his spots to throw the combinations. The thing is, Haney, even as patient and as cautious and careful as he is, he still let his hands go. Even in a very boring fight with Yuriokis Gamboa, he's always cautious, but he's also letting his hands go. It's not like he doesn't throw punches. You know what I'm saying? He's just smart. He's very smart. He's smart with his volume. I gave Kambosos the 11th round. So I felt like at this point, this 12th round met everything for this fight. And I think if Teo clearly won this round, I think if he clearly won, I think he could have got out of here with a draw. Now Teo's coming in strong. I like the left hook he lands to the body. Oh, he lands another right hand up top against George. So I think he's starting this round out pretty good. We're about almost a minute into the last round, and I feel like right now Teo is doing a better work in the first minute of this round. George steps in, lands a couple of left hands, lands a right, another right. See, this is the point where you need to step it up. Now George is stepping it up. George is stepping it up. Teo needed to step it up here. You know? Igor asks, don't you think fighting in your own backyard is hard, especially when you just became the champ and it's overwhelming doing all the interviews going from event to it? It might affect Kambosos. I said this earlier. I said this earlier in the video. It's like this is the first time in 5 fights since he's fought at home, and he's never fought in front of a crowd that he's about to fight in front of. This could be an effect. I think a lot of us are talking about the fact that they're going to be fighting in his backyard and how much of a disadvantage it may be for Devin Haney, but it could be a disadvantage for George Kambosos neither. And hopefully George is not coming into this fight being overconfident because of the fact that he beat Teofimo Lopez. We don't know. We won't know until the fight. Mentally is no way to really tell who has the advantage. This is a close round. Teo's landed a lot of right hands here, but so has George. Close round. They both exchanging. I always felt that in watching this fight, George was always getting the better of the exchanges whenever they exchange. I felt like George always landed better when they both exchange. Close fight. Yeah, that fight was definitely upset. I mean, Teofimo Lopez was 13-1 favorite? No, yeah, Sandor Martin versus Mikey Garcia was a big upset. It was. That was a big upset. That might have been a bigger upset than this one. All right, I just ended that fight. I'm gonna go over to Devin Haney real quick and watch the Linares fight. Turn that on real quick. I'm using the zone for anyone that wants to know what I'm watching it from. I'm watching it from the zone. I didn't watch the Jojo Diaz fight because Jojo is a southpaw. I didn't even bother watching it. I started to watch it and then I was like, I'm not gonna watch this fight. JoJo is a southpaw. I think the proper fight here is good. Is the Linares fight because Linares is very, he's very quick. Um, he's very quick, and he's an orthodox fighter. I think the advantages that Linares had over Kambosos is his power. You know, his power, or maybe his experience as well. He had a lot of power, very quick left hook, as well as Kambosos. But Linares has more power than Kambosos. And that short right hand that he's knocked out pretty much everybody with. That was the hand, the punch that I was worried about Devin Haney. That's the punch that connected in the 10th round against Haney. So I just tuned into Devin Haney against Linares. So we're starting round 1 now. All right. Yeah. I'm working, man. 2 streams. I figure, let me just do this rewatch thing as I'm home. Let me jump back on here. Who do you guys got for the fight? Let me know in the comments. Who you guys got? Haney or Kambosos? Who do you guys think is gonna win? How? I just put up a poll on the channel. Check out the poll on the community part of the channel. All right, so we're in round 1, and right away both trade jabs. Now Haney, like I said, he's gonna always work behind the jab. Great jab, very quick, very sharp. He changes levels a lot. He throws the jab to the body a lot as well, and that's what you're gonna get right away. Linares is coming in with that active high guard, and he's trying to counter Haney with the left hook. And he does, and he connects often in this fight because Haney likes to exchange sometimes, but he keeps that right glove too low. So when Haney steps in with his left hook, sometimes he makes a mistake by not keeping that right hand high enough to block the left hook that's coming right back at him. Another jab. Now Haney right away, 1 minute into this fight, and Haney has landed a great amount of jabs, and he's landing right hands to the body. He's changing levels. He's probing that jab, and right now all we're getting from Linares is him trying to counter Haney with the left hook. Now, one difference between Linares and Kambosos, George is going to be throwing more overhand rights. All right. Linares throws some, but not like the way George does. George is going to be trying to connect with the overhand right. And George likes to, he's good at timing. He's going to be faking to the body and throwing that overhand right. He's going to be, Linares is more of a short right hand type of guy. He wants to get in close enough to counter you with the short right hand. He's not big on throwing the overhand right, not the way that George does it. George is a left hooker, though. He's definitely going to try to connect with that shot, but George doesn't have that pop that Linares has. Both very fast. Both very fast. Sorry, both very fast, but both do it differently. What do you guys got? Eddie says young Linares is much faster. Absolutely. Steven says I got Kambosos since Haney don't have his dad in his corner. Philly Zoe says Haney is for sure the better boxer. It will be about the game plan. I'm rooting for Haney, but I respect what George brings to the table. Absolutely, and I agree. Elney says just by the body language, I can't believe that Teo actually believed he won the fight before the scorecards were announced. Yeah, that's delusion, That's him just being delusional. Good round for Haney. Igor asks, do I think this fight goes to distance? Yes, I do. EK says George by robbery. Vlad says both Loma and Teofimo lost due to being super cocky. Loma decided to fight when the injury, and Teo decided to steamroll Kambosos, and when that did not happen, no plan B. Good point, and I agree. Philly says, I think the uppercut will be the money punch for Haney later in the fight. Yes, Big uppercut for Haney. Big one. Big one. And then, you know what? Again, Haney don't have the biggest power. All right. But you got to watch out for his angles. The uppercut in this fight against Linares connected very often in this fight. And it might not be able to hurt Kambosos, but he might can score a flash knockdown in there. Same thing with George, you know. That overhand right of his, very quick. If he catches Haney, I can see Haney getting buzzed by it or getting dropped by it, you know. Flash knockdowns. I'm not expecting a knockout from neither, though. All right. I think both have shown me that they're both durable. And this is part of the reason why, being that neither one of them are the biggest punchers, both of them rely mainly off speed. I'm not expecting a knockout. I'm expecting maybe someone to get buzzed. I'm expecting a knockdown, maybe a flash knockdown, maybe at the most. But I would expect it to be a 12-round fight, a decision win for either side in a very competitive boxing match. All right. Yes, I did know George before Tio. I actually covered his fight with Lee Selby. Yeah, I actually covered it live here. So I did know George before him. I saw George maybe a fight or two before that for the first time. Lavita says rarely does a fighter ever admit defeat initially. Even Canelo was saying he won against Bivol after clearly being frustrated during the fight. Yeah, but Teofimo, even later down the line, you know, he's made comments. I mean, if you ask him today, he still believes that he got robbed. Yes, Lopez did say there was some sort of injury before the fight too. But yeah, in this fight here, again, Haney is, see the difference between Haney and Kambosos and what I see here. Haney clearly has a another level. He's on another level as far as not only his jab, but the angles. You know, he has more punches in his arsenal, so you don't know exactly what he's gonna throw. You know, look at the body. The left hook to the body by Haney lands. We're about 20 seconds left in the second round here. And you know, Haney, he has a lot of weapons, a lot of tricks. And again, as patient as he is fighting, he's still, this is what I was saying earlier, as patient as he is, he's still throwing a lot of punches, you know? And he can fight like this for a full 12 rounds. You know, he can fight a very disciplined fight for a full 12 rounds. You know, okay, he doesn't have the power as a what's his name? Teofimo Lopez. But again, you know, you got to deal with him and his volume for 12 rounds straight. And you got to deal with the angles. You got to deal with the body shots. And you got to deal with him making adjustments and changing and shifting and then coming forward and working the body and beating you on the inside. That's something that Haney is going to do. Haney's not going to just keep doing the same thing. He's going to switch it up as the fight goes, you know? Philly says, I agree. It's hard for me to see a knockout. Yeah, I don't see a knockout, man. I don't see a knockout from either side. Carmen says, if you're injured and you still take the fight and lose, that's on you. I'm not here for the excuses. I'm not here neither for that. I'm not here for that. You know, you signed up for it. That's what you got to do. You know, guys pull out of fights because of injuries all of the time. Listen, if you're not healthy, don't do it. You know, same with Gary Russell Jr. against Mark Marsaio. I don't want to hear all that. Oh, I fought with one arm. My arm was a whole injury. Listen, you it was a great effort with one arm, but you decided all these years to not get this surgery. We're not going to blame it all on that. after you take an L. Because if you won, it would have been like, oh, Russell's so good. I won the fight with one arm. No, you didn't win the fight. You did well fighting with one arm. But, this is the thing with Linares. Linares relied too much on the left hook. We're in the third round here. And Linares is literally just walking, coming straight forward in the high guard and just looking to counter with the left hook. We didn't get much outside of that. George is actually going to bring a lot more than Linares. Even Linares, even with the jab, where's the jab? Where's the jab? No jab. No jab. No jab. Time is just going past, and Linares is just coming. He's changing. He's fainting, but where is the jab? We don't get the jab from him. We don't get it. Who's the dark horse in that division? Dark horse. Good question. Good question. Let's talk about it. Who's here? Who do I think is the guys that, maybe not the four horsemen, but I think Isaac Cruz is one of them. All right. I think we got to keep an eye on Jermaine Ortiz. Just won against Jamel Herring. I think we got to look out for Michelle Rivera. Okay, that's another guy we got to look out for. Michelle Rivera is one of those guys. We don't talk about him enough. Those are three people. I think Isaac Cruz, I know many of us, including myself, wasn't asking for that fight with Tank. But his style is going to be an issue for a lot of guys because of his short. He's short, and he knows how to really get up on your chest and hit you with some big shots on the inside, He's going to be an issue for anybody. Keyshawn is getting there. I purposely left him out because I think he's still got a long way to go. Even though he looks very promising. Frank Martin. Yeah, Frank Martin's another guy too. We got to look out for. I named some people that's a little bit further in their careers than those two. But Frank Martin and Keyshawn Davis are definitely the future. And they'll be there soon. They're not that far away. Well, I don't think effective jab is enough in Australia, but I don't think an effective jab is all Haney is giving you. Haney's going to give you a lot more than just an effective jab. He's going to give you a lot more than just being effective with this jab. As I'm saying, he's going to go to the body. He's going to be hitting you with right hands around the guard. He's going to be hitting you with left hooks. He's going to be countering. He's going to land uppercuts as you're coming in. Haney has a lot in his arsenal. He has a lot. All right, we're in what is it? It's the fourth round here. Now, this is a round. Now I was just watching some of this fight before I went live. And I stopped it like maybe after this round or maybe the next round. But this was a round that I gave to Linares. I remember giving this round specifically to Linares because this is the round where he connected the most. He started to use his jab here. All right. And he started to connect with that left hook. He caught Haney right there with a left hook, clean. Haney started to let his hands go and started to get a little reckless here. And Linares is now walking him down a bit. And he's starting to use his jab a little bit more, and he's hooking off the jab. And I think that's part of the reason why he started to connect a little with Haney. Haney's still active, though. Haney is going to the body relentlessly, and he's still probing, and he's doing a good job in keeping that distance between the two. But this is when Linares started to catch Haney. Another jab lands for Linares. This is something that was missing the first three rounds. Another jab from Linares. This was something that was missing in the previous rounds in this fight. Another left hook lands for Linares. Now, Haney's still landing. He's still touching Linares throughout, but Linares, I feel like Linares in this round so far has landed the heavier shots. Corey says Haney is sharp. I think people sleep on what he did in that Linares fight. He was putting on a clinic. Yeah, and that's the problem. I think, once, Linares lost to Loma, it just didn't matter anymore, you know? Um, and that's how it is, with boxing fans. It just doesn't matter. We seen Linares get stopped. Oh, nice right hand connects for Linares. He's landing a lot. This is the most I've seen anyone land against Devin Haney in a round. In this fight here, up to this point, this is the most I've seen anyone land against Haney. Haney's usually shutting guys out and winning clear decisions, but this was a good round for Linares here. Good round. 10 seconds left in the fourth. Another left hook lands for Linares. See, Haney got to keep that right hand up. But you know what? He's fine. He's very relaxed. And again, that goes to that whole he doesn't have a chin talk. How many hooks did he take from Linares that round? At least 4 or 5. Didn't seem bothered by it. I know he gets hurt later in the fight by Linares' best punch, which is short right hand counter. But Haney, I don't know where this chin thing is coming from. I don't know who created that. Like, who made that up? Yeah, they clown Haney for getting knocked down. I mean, Rock, but Loma was knocked down. Exactly. You know, and Loma fought a fresher Linares, you know, and that fight was tight. It's not like that was the only round that Linares won. Linares was boxing very, very well against Lomachenko. I remember up to that point, I felt like that was going to be Lomachenko's most dangerous fight. I did do a breakdown for that fight back then. And I said that was going to be Loma's most dangerous fight. Out of all those guys that he's fought, at 130 and 135. I think in his earlier career at 126, I thought, Nicholas Walters, Gary Russell Jr. were the dangerous fights for him. But after he beats those guys, I thought Linares was the best challenge up to that point before Teofimo Lopez. Now, look, this fight changing. Devin Haney comes out. He's fighting on the inside. He's walking Linares now down. Now he's not fighting on his back foot. Now he's coming in. He's attacking the body. He's drawing combinations. He's landing uppercuts. And it's a different fight. He's doing more work now because he lost. He probably is aware that he lost that fourth round. So what did he's changing it up now. Now he's getting him different angles on the inside. He's doing more on the inside now that Linares, got that last round. What's up, Boxing Gems? I do think Shakur is better than Haney. I don't think he's much better than Haney, but I do think he's better than Haney. All right. I do think Shakur is better, but not by much. I thought that, even when they had that classic sparring match, I thought that Shakur was slightly getting the edge. But I don't think it's by much. Like I think if they were to fight today, it would be a close fight. As Shakur, as great defensively as great as he is, I think he would get hit more against Haney than he did against Valdez or anybody else he's faced. I think that would be a competitive fight, but I'm edging it. Nice combination by Haney. See, this is what I mean. This is the round where we're going to get Look at that. Look, they trade hooks, and Haney blew him away this 5th round. And this is what I like. And this is what Kambosos is going to have to deal with, because there's going to be a point where they're going to have an exchange. And I feel like Haney is going to get the better of Kambosos in those exchanges in close range, because I think he's a superior boxer on the inside, especially on the inside. Great round for Haney, his best round in this fight so far. After Linares had his best round, Haney switched it up, came back stronger. And that's the way you got to do it. That's the way you got to do it. Steven says Loma, Campbell, T.O., George, all these guys were knocked down. Oh, you meant Ryan. Yeah, all of them guys were knocked down. All of them were knocked down. Yeah, I don't know where that came from about him being this chinny guy. People were even saying that before the Linares fight. And I don't know where it came from. That was before Linares fight. But when the fights happen, people don't give credit. Same thing with JoJo. People thought JoJo was Haney's best test. And there was people that thought JoJo was going to win the fight. I remember, because I remember breaking it down, reading the comments. I know that there was people out there that thought JoJo would expose Haney. And it didn't happen that way. Now, we're in the 6th round, and Haney is just pushing forward now and smothering Jorge Linares, landing a big uppercut. And this is what I mean about adjusting. He can switch up the style. He could fight on his back foot and work behind the jab, or he could get it in and mix it up with you on the inside and bully you on the inside, which is what he's doing right now. Very disciplined fighter, and he has a range of skills. He don't just do the same thing all fight long. Now he's being aggressive. And he doesn't look tired. He looks relaxed. He's not taking any real damage. He's just pushing forward on Linares right now. He don't get he doesn't get the credit. And it's okay, because all he has to do is keep winning. And you know what? Sometimes that's the motivation you need. You think people think, I'm sure if anybody hears it, he hears the criticism. All he needs to do is just keep showing the world that he's better than what these guys give him credit for. Yeah, absolutely. Once he beat JoJo, it was just like, he struggled against JoJo. Well, he was supposed to lose to JoJo, And he was fighting in the area where JoJo he was the fan favorite. The crowd was booing Haney. Yes, he's working out now. He's working Linares this round. This 6th round, he's working him. Just outworking him, bullying him on the inside. And that's good on his part, because again, if things are not working from the outside with Haney, he can always switch it up and be the aggressor, especially if you're fighting in somebody else's backyard, because one thing that certain judges like is pure aggression, and that's what we're seeing in this fight. We seeing him be the boxer. Now we see him being the aggressor, and the jab doesn't stop. Nice combination landed by Jorge Linares at the end of this 6th round. Lands a left hand, actually landed a right hand too with that. But big round for Haney. Big round. Thanks, unbiased. Appreciate it. Totally random. Wasn't planning on jumping back on here. But, I was doing the film study and had to do figure I'd go live while I'm sitting here watching these fights. I want to get this breakdown out. Philly says Devin is smart. I feel like Devin's biggest weakness is this age. He is literally in the beginning of his prime and is already fighting for undisputed. Yeah, I don't think that's a problem though, man. I think that you got to understand, if people keep doubting you, you're not gonna have any reason to not keep pushing forward. Because even if he fights George and wins and become undisputed, people are gonna still be saying like you're boring, you're chinny, you know, uh, Tank will knock you out, or Lomachenko will knock you out, or Teo, or whoever else that's out there. Beating George Kambosos, if he is to win, is not gonna that's not gonna be the fight where people are gonna give you your props. If they don't believe in you now, they're not gonna believe in you by being George, because George is not somebody that people expected for him to win against Teo. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think him becoming undisputed by beating George makes it clear in most people's eyes. I think people are still gonna say, oh, he's not worth the fight. Even as an undisputed champion, he's not worth it. I mean, look, Josh Taylor was getting that very same thing when it came to like Tank fans and Leonard Ellaby and them. Like, they were saying like, who is he? He's not filling out any seats. He's not filling out arenas. I've seen people that are, Tank fans or whoever saying that about Haney now. They're like, okay, he's good, but he's not filling out any arenas. It's crazy when I hear fans say that. It's crazy, but that's what it is. Yo, Devin Haney is gonna be one of those guys that's gonna always be the underdog. He's gonna always be. He's just never gonna get his credit. He's not, because he's not knocking this. Let's be clear. He's not knocking guys out, and people are gonna just always criticize him. And I think that's gonna be one of the things that's gonna keep the hunger there. He just gotta watch out for them left hooks, man, because George got him. George definitely got that. And I'm sure he's gonna have that ready. All right, but he's gonna do more than Linares. He might not have that big punch that Linares got, but George is going to ambush you. He's not gonna just throw the left hook and land it. He's gonna follow it up with something. He's gonna hit you with a 3-piece. Haney's just too good though, man. He's doing a little bit of everything, man. And he's still getting hit. We're closing out the 7th round. He's still getting hit. It's not like he's not getting touched. Again, everybody talks about the one round where he gets rocked. Everybody else is just dismissing the fact that he got hit all fight long. People are forgetting about everything that's happened now, everything else. And same thing with the JoJo fight. He was getting hit in that fight, and he took all the punches. Corey says they're gonna say that it was an easy undisputed route due to who he fought. Again, and you're probably right. And you know what? As a fighter, there's nothing else that you can really do outside to take care of business. Listen to what people going to say. Yeah, you got the ear for it, but people going to say whatever they want to say. It is what it is. It's not like Haney didn't want the Teofimo Lopez fight. He was going around, following around, just annoying Teo and Ryan Garcia, showing up to their fights. He wanted to fight those dudes 4 or 5 fights ago. You know what I'm saying? Now he has undisputed. If he is to win, he'll be undisputed. If he wins, of course. Nice left hook lands for Devin Haney, man. And Devin is fighting in the danger zone. It's like watching a Bivol and Canelo fight. Bivol wasn't just like way out of Canelo's range. He was inside of Canelo's range when he was outboxing him. You know, you got to give Bivol credit. Bivol was in range when he was boxing Canelo. He didn't have to be, but he chose to be. And he was comfortable there, and he did the better work. And he's doing the same here in this Linares fight. He's in range to get caught with something. And he's still boxing well. Corey says Ryan was Devin's mandatory and openly said he didn't want the fight. Well, Ryan has more Instagram followers. So Devin don't deserve to fight. Devin got to get his Instagram count up. He got to get those Instagram numbers back up. You know? You got to get those Instagram followers up. Too low. Devin's just picking them apart, man. You know, but I mean, listen, guys like him, Shakur Stevenson, they're not going to always get the KOs, you know, but they're going to school whoever they're fighting, you know, and you never know. He may come into his power. You know, he's only 23. You never know. You know, you might actually move up to 140 and become stronger. I have no idea. Maybe they bring somebody and they strength and conditioning coach that can make him work on that, you know. We never know. We'll never know. It's so early in his career. Or he might be a guy that just continues to improve as a boxer and keep winning clear decisions, you know. Nice jab from Devin Haney, man. Oh man, he's just punishing Linares with the jab. All right, so we're closing out the 8th round, man. I'm more impressed with Haney. I'm more impressed with him over Kambosos' boxing ability. But I'm not sleeping on George, you know, because I know what he's capable of. But I'm more impressed with Devin Haney. Haney can do much more than George, you know. George have great speed, great timing. All right, very durable fighter, well-conditioned fighter. But I think Haney can do more. He's a lot more versatile than George Kambosos, you know. Philly says, I could see Devin being like a bud and become a great and finishing guys as he grows up. Absolutely. I thought Bud he kept improving with age. You know, he improved with age and experience, and he waited until he went to welterweight before he started just destroying guys. You know, and sometimes guys are as powerful because they're trying to cut down in weight. They're focused on is trying to make the weight in the lower divisions. And if they were to fight at a higher weight class where they wouldn't have to cut down so much, they might be a lot stronger. You know, people say like Bud didn't fight anyone at 147 and all these guys were easy fights, but he shouldn't have been stopping these guys the way that he was stopping them at 147. Regardless, you might not respect all those fights, but he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. And he's putting himself in danger to do it. I feel like at 140, I feel like the fights Bud had at 140 against like a Felix Diaz and the who's the other fighter he beat? Victor Postal. I thought he fought more cautiously against those two. Now I know he dropped Postal and I know he stopped Diaz, but he fought a very careful fight. Whereas at 147, he went to war with punchers. He went to war with some of those guys. And they were bigger guys. But after the fight was over, everybody goes back to Nah, easy fight. Whereas before, even the Jeff Horn fight, oh, he got to get a belt. He got to beat Jeff Horn first. This is what the other champions in the other division was saying. Not even just the fans, but the champions. As soon as he beat them and destroyed them and made it look easy, it's like, did you guys just see Jeff Horn against Manny Pacquiao? Are we going to completely forget that fight happened? Do you want to compare Bud's performance against Jeff Horn to Manny Pacquiao's? Like, no one wants to do that, you know? Meanwhile, everybody's chasing Pacquiao. But if you look at his Jeff Horn performance, whether you think he won or lost, it was a close fight. Bud went in there and made it look easy. And that's what you're supposed to do. And that's what Haney needs to do. You know, regardless of what's going on with his father, I know his father can't come. I know there's some drama behind that. I know he's going to Australia. But if he's going to go to Australia, he has to make it clear. He's going to have to do what B-Will just did with Canelo. You're going to have to make the fight so clear that they can't rob you. You're going to have to make it that clear. You can't just win. You have to dominate. Or you're not walking out of there with anything. You're going to lose your belt. Steven says, I think his power gets criticized a little too much, too. He had a KO of the year candidate against Moran, and Linares told him he respected his power after their fight. Yeah. I remember the Moran fight. That was a crazy KO. But I don't think there's going to be a knockout, you know. Navita Boxio says, Bud is hella overrated. Oh, it is what it is. Bud made it easy because he's a great fighter, and I'm a Spence fan. These fans act like you can't respect both. Bud is truth. Yeah, it's always like that though. When it comes to a lot of things, it's like you gotta pick a side. You know, people act like you can't like Spence and like Bud. You know, if you like Spence, you can't like Bud. If you like Bud, you can't like Spence. You know, but it's not. It's all about like, I don't mind it that much because, you know, fans at the end of the day, you know, it makes great arguments. It makes for great shit talking. You know what I'm saying? If you have a friend, like if you have a friend that's a boxing fans and you're super pro Spence and you're super pro Bud, it is a good night for like shit talking and fight parties and stuff like that. It's good for sports, you know, but realistically, it's like, yo, if you're a Spence fan and you down Bud and you make it seem like Bud is overrated, it takes away for the win if Spence is to win that fight. Same with Bud. Like if you're a Bud fan and you make it seem like Spence is overrated and he's beating guys that, you know, I hear all of these things like Spence is only doing what Keith Thurman already did, or, you know, I hear all of these things and I'm like, well, or if you say that Spence is not the same, you're taking away from the win if Bud is to beat Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate when people just trash the fighters. Like, yo, you can't trash them because if they fight and your guy wins, you already dismissed like how credible the fight is. I never understood that with people. Like, chill. Like, I've always said, and I've been consistent since day one. I've been consistent since I've been talking about this fight since Bud was at 140. I said, if anybody's going to beat Errol Spence at 147, it's going to be Terrence Bud Crawford. And I said, if anybody's going to beat Bud Crawford, it's going to be Errol Spence. You know, now I know there's other people coming up like Boots and Ortiz and all these guys, but I'm talking about their current generation. That's the way I saw it. I didn't see anybody being Spence. When Spence beat Danny, I knew he was going to beat Danny. When Spence beat Porter, I knew he was going to beat Porter. I know Spence didn't fight Thurman, but if they did fight, I had Spence beating him too. Same thing with Bud. I had the same thing. I said Spence and Bud is going to be all these guys. You know? We're in the 10th round. So we leading up towards the 10th, the end of the 10th. And Haney was having a great round here. He was having a good round, but we know that he's about to get clipped at some point. towards the end. He gets clipped, and he gets clipped hard. And we know how the rest of the fight goes. He plays it safe for the next 2 rounds. And people are complaining about that, but I'm like, bro, dude he won just about every round in this fight except 1 round. I gave 1 round. I gave the 4th round to Linares. He won every other round in the fight. If he gets hurt, you think he's going to give up the fight? Because, yeah, Linares caught him good. Devin Haney was doing the stinky leg when he's walking back to his corner. But, he made it. He made it. It is what it is. Are you going to give up the fight because, you want to prove? This is what we hate, right? Us boxing fans, right? When a fighter gets hurt and they get clipped with a good shot, we hate when the fighter doesn't tie up, right? We hate it. We see it all the time. Fighters get clipped with a good shot. What do they want to do? They're embarrassed. They want to smile into the crowd. They want to smile into the corner like, nah, I'm good. They don't tie up. They sit there and try to bang with the guy that just hurt them. And then they end up getting knocked out for real. But we see a guy get caught with a good shot, right? Caught with the short right hand, which is Linares' best punch. He comes out, plays it safe for 2 rounds. People get mad like, oh, he ran, or he didn't do nothing for the last 2 rounds. Well, dude just got hurt. He probably wasn't recovered. I'm watching it. He's not fully recovered yet. He's still fighting, but he's not recovered. Oh, he got caught with another left hand. Yeah, he's not recovered at this point. This 11th round, as I'm watching it, Linares is coming at him. Now Haney is starting to move because he's not recovered yet. And he's still actually boxing, which is the funny part about it. Again, he got caught again. He getting beat up in this 11th round. I think what people are pissed off at is that Linares didn't stop him because they wanted him to get stopped. And he didn't get stopped because Linares is still hitting him as he's trying to recover. Linares has caught him with several shots. Now Haney is trying to hold, finally, 1 minute in. Linares has still been hitting Haney after the 10th round. So what are people talking about? See, I got the fight on. So people go tweet and leave comments and say, "What?" Linares had opportunity to finish him off. I'm watching it right now. Now Haney's trying to tie up, but he's just doing. This is him being smart. Remember when J-Rock got knocked out by Charlo? Remember when J-Rock got hit the first time and he went down? J-Rock wasn't fully recovered. He got up and was trying to look pretty. He was trying to make it seem like, I'm good. No, you are not good. You are unsteady legs. We see your legs. You have noodle legs right now. Tie up. What are you doing? What are you doing? You can't be getting knocked down and trying to rush and jump back up. Your legs are not even good, bro. And then when he got knocked down again, he tried to do the same thing again. He got up too quick. I believe Paulie Malignaggi might have been doing a commentary, and even Paulie was saying it like, bro, what are you doing? You got up too quick. Take a knee, recover, and then when you get back up, tie up if you have to, move a little bit, do whatever you have to do to survive. Haney is fighting in this 11th round. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Haney is fighting, and Linares is hitting him still. What are you guys talking about? Where's this where's this terrible chin that I've been hearing so much about? Where is it? Where is this running? I don't see any running. This is not Chris Colbert. I seen that with Chris Colbert. Chris Colbert tried to survive for a whole half of a round or a fight. He didn't try to win the fight. This is what I'm trying to say. People, listen to what people be saying. When there's some sort of hate, built-in hate for somebody, it's coming. You don't have to argue with them, but know in your head, like, this dude's a hater. He just wanted this dude to get knocked out and then go that way. Because as a fighter, he did everything you're supposed to do. That's what I mean about being disciplined. He did everything he was supposed to do. He got rocked with a good shot. He came in the next round, still fought, but tied up. Tied up. You know? That's what you're supposed to do. Linares landed a whole lot in that round, man. Oh man. I don't see this terrible chin. You know? I don't see it. Does he have Golovkin's chin? Does he have a Danny Garcia type of chin? I don't believe so. But where's this chin, this terrible chin that people speak of? I don't see it here. You know, people talk about his chin like he's American or something. All right, we're in the 12th round. And again, Haney closing the distance between the two, and he's fighting. He's fighting still. This round looks like any other round. But if let a fan tell you, he'll tell you this dude was running around the ring the whole fight. The proof is online. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Nice right hand connects for Devin Haney. We're a minute into the 12th round, and Devin Haney is winning this 12th round so far. He's winning the round so far. What are we talking about? To be honest, now that I'm watching it again, because I haven't seen this since the fight, I feel like Haney is fighting reckless because Haney is still with his hands low, slipping shots, and just using his head movement for defense. I feel like, you got the fight in the bag. You actually could have played it safer than what he's doing right now. Man, this is why I like to do this. I'll take the fight. I'll take the time out of my day to rewatch a fight just to make sure that I know what I'm talking about. Because people just say shit that they see somebody. There's people, I've been on here a long time. There's people that'll hear people, listen to people on YouTube, right? The research is there. Now Linares is starting to come back now. I think Linares is starting to push forward now. So even if I were to, this is a Linares round because now he's pushing forward, and Haney is tying up now. But that's because he came out trying to be, I think Haney was doing too much earlier in this round. Yeah, he's tying up a lot now. Now he's tying up a lot because there's only 30 seconds left in the fight. And people are trying to boo. He waited to the last minute of the fight to start tying up? He's probably hurt. He did take a lot of shots this round. All right, fight over. All right. Yeah, this is why I like to do my research and do my own film study, because there's some people on here. There are a lot of lazy fans that just want to listen to certain people, push a certain narrative, and they'll go based on just that. They won't do any research. There's things that you can literally take 5 seconds for you to look up and see for yourself, but you'll take the word of somebody just because you're a fan of that fighter. It took nothing just to go and pull the fight up and watch it. That's all you got to do. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm definitely gonna have the breakdown out. If probably not tonight, but by tomorrow, I would like to have the breakdown done. For this fight. I'm gonna make several videos. Shout out to Boxing Gyms. I was actually just talking to him not too long ago. I'm gonna definitely do I'm gonna have him as a guest on his channel soon. So we could talk about this fight as well before before the fight itself. I think this is a big fight. It's not only is it an undisputed fight, but I feel like there's a lot of things going on with this fight. You know what I'm saying? This is not your normal everyday undisputed fight. I think with all the outside of the ring drama, a lot of things could affect. And plus, these guys at 135, the belts are just getting passed around right now. You know what I'm saying? Lomachenko wasn't even there for that long at 135. Became 3-belt unified champion, fought Teofimo Lopez. Lopez stopped Comey in a very impressive fashion. No one, even if you had Teo winning the fight, I don't think any of us expected Teo to just destroy Comey the way that he did, because that was his step-up fight, and he didn't look good against Nakatani. Teo beats Lomachenko. Lomachenko comes back, destroys Nakatani. You know what I'm saying? Destroys Comey, dominates him. Teo loses to Kambosos. It's a lot going on with this division. This even if whoever wins this fight, are we still sure of who is the best fighter in this division? Are we going to be certain with that? Do y'all feel that the winner of this fight officially is the best? Officially, right? But Lomachenko's still out there. And I know he lost to Teo, but he had 2 really good comeback wins. Are we going to be sure? This is why this fight is a big deal, because I think being that it's been passed around so much, it's like, I don't know who wins. Anybody could win, because there's a question mark with every name that's in this division. I'm not sure with anybody with this division right now. This is why it's so hard to pick, because I could see Teo. I could see Devin losing. I could see if he loses, I could see how he could lose. I could see how George Kambosos could lose. You know what I'm saying? I could see the winner of this fight, even if they have a rematch, I could see them one of them losing to the next guy, which is most likely to be Lomachenko. Or I could see, what if Tank really gets a fight? I know he said he's willing to fight Devin, right? He said in the interview the other day. What if Tank gets in there first? Like, I don't think any of these guys have really proven to me yet that they're the best in this division. Like, I know Jamel Charlo's the best at 154. Like, I know that. Like, it's no doubt in my mind he's the best. All these other guys, I have no idea. Still trying to wait and find out what's going on with that. So, anyway, man, I'm out, man. It was a fun random video with y'all. I'm gonna take off. And I'll see you guys again. I'll see you guys on the next one, man. I'm out of here, man. Thanks for checking in. Make sure you smash that like button on your way out. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. All right. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I just did a video earlier today talking about Canelo. Make sure you check that out if you haven't. I already did the breakdown for Tank and Rolly Romero. I will be doing the live commentary for the fight this Saturday. And be on the lookout for the actual breakdown video of George Kambosos and Devin Haney. All right. And other breakdowns in the future. All right. I'll see you guys later. Peace.